Think about a time when you had to pull yourself through the library, search for hours and hours on end to find that one perfect sentence that supports your argument or that just pulls at your heartstrings. Sounds pretty unfamiliar, right? That's all because of computers and the internet. So naturally, when COVID shut down the world and we hunkered down in our houses, we turned back to computers to drive connection and to figure out how we're going to get out of this situation. Now, for most people, there is one pressing question, isn't there? Where do we even start? We have billions and billions and billions, just a lot of compounds in the world. So just like sifting through thousands of books in the library with a computer, you can also sift through billions of compounds using virtual screening. Even the computer in front of you is capable of doing that. Let's go over some key ideas. There are two moving parts in this model, the molecule and the enzyme. The molecule, made of a variety of structures such as a hydroxyl group or a ring, docks to the protein. It is the potential treatment. Next, the enzyme is a protein made up of amino acids, which in its primary structure links up like beads of a necklace, and in its tertiary and quaternary structure folds to a 3D configuration. These enzymes that help life forms stay, alive, have something called a binding site, which is necessary for reaction progression. Now we're back to virtual screening. Although there are a couple forms, I'll focus on structure-based virtual screening because COVID-19's structure is now known. With COVID, there's a spike protein, which is our target. We're throwing a bunch of molecules at this protein and hoping that something sticks, stopping COVID-19 from infecting us. This stickiness factor is better known as the binding affinity, and it's based on a number of characteristics such as size, shape, and interactions with the protein itself, including London dispersion forces and dipole-dipole interactions. Let me show you what I mean. This luggage represents the binding site, and the three of us represent compounds. My dad can't get in because he's too big, he can't fit in the binding site. My dog is too small, so she's just gonna climb right out of there. The interactions between the protein and the molecule aren't strong enough. But if I get in, I fit because I have the correct measurements and I interact with the walls of the binding pocket, in this case, the luggage. In that way, virtual screening is a lot like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. We just have to find a ligand that is just right, like a warm embrace. What does the result look like? Well, we'll get an output with lots of top compounds, and we can then visualize these interactions, which are seen in the yellow dotted lines. These compounds will bind far better than any random molecule and can also bind better than those found by testing thousands of molecules physically in a fancy lab. Of course, virtual screening is not a perfect solution. Our needy little models are imperfect, theoretical, using minor shortcuts to make them less computationally expensive, and we as humans don't have a 100% accurate understanding of the world around us. Yet, the rapid, cheap testing is a major benefit when it comes to a health crisis like the COVID pandemic. So, while we are still months later awaiting physical validation, we do have one consolation. Scientists are essentially finding a cure by looking for the world's most perfect hugs.